Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today is Tuesday, March 21st, 2023, and I'm excited to have some fun with you today and show you how to make a pop-out fun fold card. And we're even going to use one of the online exclusive bundles with the hippos. So I am excited to show that to you. I am Kathi with Simply Cards by Kathi, and I'm glad that you're here with me today. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am so happy you found me. And for those of you that are here with me, like Mary, thank you for being here with me. And if you catch me on the replay, I'm so happy you're there too. So let's get started with this pop-out fun fold, and I'm going to switch it to my desktop. Okay, hopefully you can see and hear me well. If you cannot, please leave me a comment, but we're going to get started. Now, I want to start off by showing you just the stamp set and the dies that we're going to be using. Now, I am going to use, and we're going to pull it out here, we're going to use this largest square from Stylish Shapes. That's going to make our window for our pop-out fun fold. And then this darling bundle. I love this Rhino Ready bundle. It's a cling stamp set. And I have about 5 of the stamps already pulled out for us to use. But just a really cute card. And then the dies that go with it, you have several. You have one for each of the hippo images that you have. You have some leaves, and you have a little party like horn that you can do, the bird. We have grasses for this image, and then you have some like landscape images, some trees, and these can be used for on the trees or landscape. So we're going to do more with those on another day, but we are going to go ahead and get started. I hope you're having a good start to your week. Now, the card we're going to do, I'm going to bring everything out. Don't worry about the measurements. Just kind of sit back and relax and enjoy. I will have this post up for you no later than 1 o'clock this afternoon. It'll be ready to go. And all of the measurements will be there with a downloadable PDF. Also, if you stick with me to the end, you will see another card made like this. So let's go. We're going to start off with a 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I am going to go ahead and fold this into the hill. I'm going to burnish it with my bone folder. Now, with this card, I want to make sure I have some really good creases, and you're going to see why. Because the card doesn't lay real flat because it is a pop-out fun fold. So this is good. Now, for the inside of the card, we're going to use a piece of 5 by 6. And let me just show you. So we're going to measure this off, and then I'm going to show you how to score it. So this is a piece of basic white, and it's already measured off at 5, and it should be measured off at 6. Now we're going to score it at the 2 mark and at the 4 mark, 4-inch line. So you want to make sure with your cutter, your trimmer, that you have the cutting blade out of the way. We all have done that where we didn't and cut something. So that's at 2, and this is at 4. Okay, and we can set this off. We're done with that. Okay. with this, we are going to fold it. I'm going to fold in here. So folding up, and you can reverse it. You're going to fold it like a Z, piece of fuzz, and fold this one back. Now I want to make sure I have really good creases again, because this is not a card that lays real flat. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish on each of these creases, and I tend to flip over and do both sides. Now the way this is going to fit into here, it's going to go here, and then we're going to have our little window, our square here. So we're going to set this off, and for a moment we're going to go back to our card base. Now you're going to need designer series paper, and you're going to need 2 pieces, or actually 3, because we're going to do the envelope. So this is going to be the same size as your card front. So this is 4 1/4 by 5. And we are going to adhere it to the front. Now, I'm going to tell you 2 things. We're going to cut the square out of the top here. So you can just adhere around the edges in like the lower third, so that you don't have your designer series paper on the square. I like to adhere the whole thing, and I'll show you how I use it. So I'm going to bring in my multi-purpose glue, and we're going to go ahead and adhere this. And I'm going to adhere to the whole thing, because I like using that, and you'll see how I use it. So this is our card front, and I want to make sure that I line it up right at the fold and on the edge. And that actually looks, I want to slide a little bit, which is why I use the glue, because it allows me to slide and reposition. And that looks good. So here's the front of our card. Okay, now we need to cut that window out of this front. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to take my largest square from my Stylish Shapes, and I want to make just a little bit here at the top, and I want to make sure it's about as even as I can get it on the sides. And I always tape mine down. That's just me. I don't trust that it won't move. So I'm going to take a piece of sticky note tape and just put this down here. And I'm going to pop over to my cut and emboss machine and pop this out. Okay, we're back. And I'm just going to remove this tape. Now this tape is super easy to remove. I have never had it rip a piece of paper, even though I'm still careful taking it off. All right, and then I'm just going to pop out our window. Okay, so here is the window for our pop out fun fold. So that you see when we adhere it here, yep, it's going to be like this. I got slippery fingers today, I guess. It's going to be like this. We're going to use this side, but I want to leave the paper just there. And this is how it's going to go together. So let's finish off here. So now that we're ready, I want to stamp my greeting on here. This is the part you can put your greeting on and you can write on. So my greeting is, hope your birthday is wild. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that right up in here. And I'm going to ink up with my Memento ink. So I want to make sure my card is straight. Oh, look what I did. I will flip it over. Hope your birthday's wild. So again, 2 sides to every paper. So we'll flip that over and reverse our fold. It works. You work with your mistakes. Now, I didn't want to leave this white. You can, but I wanted to use another piece of my designer series paper and just kind of dress it up a little bit. So this is cut at 2 by 5, 2 by 5, because this is 5 by 6. And I'm going to have a little bit left over, and I can trim that off. So let's go ahead and adhere this to the front panel. Now that designer series paper is only going to go on the front panel. And I'm going to get it as close to that fold line, which is pretty easy to do. And make sure it's even with top and bottom and give it a good press. Now if I turn it over, you see I do have a little bit of an edge, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do is just take a pair of scissors, trim that off, just trimming the paper, and we're good. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere this so that it's about an even edge, whoops, all the way around. And we're only going to adhere this section. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue. Now, if you're a stamp and seal or a tape runner person, you can use that too. And again, I want this to be fairly even all the way around. And that looks pretty good, actually. And it's straight. All right. So here we have the basis for our card. Now I'm going to go ahead and burnish this again while it's on here. And now we're going to set this aside, and we are going to work on putting our little flap together. So I have a piece of basic white, and this is also cut from this large square. You want it the same size as the one we cut out. And I'm going to stamp it. So I'm going to bring in my stamps and some old olive. This is grass. I wanted to stamp that and color it in. So I'm just going to ink it up and come down and stamp. I'm going to stamp again and stamp just a little bit on the edge here. And now we're going to close that up, and I'm going to color these in with my Stampin' Blends. Now I have old olive. I have my light old olive and my dark. And if you're new to Stampin' Blends, they have a bullet point and they have a brush point. I'm going to use on the dark bullet point right now because hopefully you can see I'm only going to add a little bit of highlight where the marks are from the stamp. And I just want to be able to have some shading in some of these areas. Now this is a pretty small image, which is why I'm using the bullet point for this. But you'll see when I go to my light image, I am going to go to the brush point because that's my favorite to use. I'm very light-handed when I'm coloring with Stampin' Blends. I don't press hard. I don't brush back and forth because I don't want to pill my paper. These are alcohol markers, and I don't want to ruin the tip of my brush. So I just do light strokes and to color these in. I love the Stampin' Blends. I just love the way they color. And you can see it doesn't take much to use them. I'm going to turn this to the side a little bit. Now with this, with our Rhino Ready stamp set and dies, this is an online exclusive. So this is the first time Stampin' Up! Is doing the online exclusives. And what that means is the stamp sets and dies, or any of the other online products, online exclusive products, are not going to be in any catalog. So they aren't in the mini that it will retire in April, end of April, and they will not be in the new annual catalog that'll come out in May. So the only place you're going to find them is on your demonstrator's storefront or website where you do your ordering. And with the online exclusives, we don't have an end date for them. Some of them, as they run low, will be renewed, and others as will be while they're available, and after that they'll retire. So if you go in and you look at the online exclusives and there's something you'd like, I would tell you to order it because you're never sure how long it's going to be available. Now I'm going to grab a piece of basic white and we're going to do some stamping. So we're going to stamp our little rhino and we're going to stamp a bird. So I'm going to bring my Memento, and you do with your alcohol blends want to use the Tuxedo Black or Memento ink because it won't run. Let's stamp him down. Oh my goodness. Not doing very well today, am I? With the stamping. So let's stamp him down, and I know this is a big piece of cardstock. And we're going to stamp our little bird. And I'm just going to use these for demonstration for coloring to show you how to use the Stampin' Blends a little bit for shading because I've already, and we won't color all of them, but I've already cut ours out and have them ready to go on. So again with my Rhino, and you can see I will use him afterwards. That'll get cut out with the die, so I'm not worried about it. But I do want to give him a little bit of shading, and I'm using the hash marks or the accent points that are on the stamps themselves. And I'm using Smoky Slate, and I'm just coming in with my dark Smoky Slate and adding a little bit of deep color or dark color to give it a little bit of depth, some interest. And I'm just going to go around his nose. Now I'm going to show you when we're done 2 more cards. And one of them I colored him very differently than I'm coloring, or not very, but I did color him differently. I actually colored his tusk also. But then when I went back and looked and saw, rhinos aren't all gray with their tusk, they're white. So I'm going to leave his white. And you can see as I color, I'm kind of blending in with the dark. I'm kind of pulling that out. And I typically go in one direction. I don't go back and forth. If you do that, you're going to find your paper is going to get worn and pill, and you're not going to have a nice image. Now, I've had people say my Stampin' Blends run outside my Memento ink, the outline. Well, these are alcohol markers, and so they are going to carry. They are going to spread out a little bit. So I don't want to go, or I don't go all the way up to the edge. I kind of pull out right before that stamp line, and you can see that they spread out for me. And I'm just going to keep coloring. The nice thing about the Stampin' Blends is that you don't have any lines and they blend really nicely together. Where if you use the Stampin' Right markers, they tend to leave lines. Now I'm going to go back in with my dark, and I'm going to do some little lines right in his tail, and I want to brighten up that area right in here. Under his eyes. Okay, now for our bird, I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. I'm going to color that little beak, and I'm using the bullet point for that. And then I want him to be blue, so I'm going to come in with my balmy blue, and this is the dark balmy blue. And I'm just, when I have a really small image like this, it's more that I'm like for the tail, dotting it and laying down dots so that I don't have any run out. So let me pick these up. And here's our two images. And by the magic of TV, hi Carol, thank you for joining me. We're going to bring in our little hippo and our little bird, and we're going to attach them right over here. Now I use Stampin' Dimensionals to pop these up because I wanted to give some depth to the card. So we're going to go ahead and get these on. You can see I cut my dimensionals in half, and I even use the edges. I use them for things like to cut in odd shapes. So you can see I have some, I'm going to pick this up to show you. This is a card I'm going to put in the mail. I don't want his ears or tail to get smashed as it goes through the machine. So I cut little pieces of dimensionals to pop, make sure those areas stay up. Now, as you put them on this square, you want to make sure all of them is inside the square. And the reason being, this is going to go through this opening. So you don't want anything to get in the way of being able to open up that card. And the little bird, we're going to take these off, and he's going to hop on this hippo's back. So we're going to stick him right here. He's going for a ride. Now I have a little hat that I cut out from the die, and this is going to be a birthday. So we're going to pop that on, but after I stamp my greeting. So I have "It's a great day," and then on the inside, "Hope your birthday is wild." This would be a great card for a child or even an adult because it's just a fun card. So we're going to ink this up, and I'm going to and there's our greeting. So let's pop up our little hat now. So I'm going to grab a mini dimensional. Oops. And I'm going to pop this on right here. And I am going to take my snips. I have an old pair of snips here that I use just for adhesives or anything that might be sticky. And I just cut out a small piece. And I'm going to trim it right below there. So you can see I popped up with dimensionals. Let's take those off. And we're going to pop his hat on. So he's ready for a birthday party. All right, so now we're ready to adhere this to our green square. So I'm going to use multi-purpose glue and just make sure I get all the edges, because I want this is going to be a mobile part. I want this to really adhere well and stay on. These are cut from the same die, so they're the same size. And then I'm just going to take it and tap it so that the edges are even. Now we're ready to adhere this. So we're going to close our card. And the only place we're going to put glue, or again, if you use tape runner, is right in here. That's the only part you're going to adhere. And then we're going to fit our square in. So again, I'm going to take my multi-purpose glue and I'm just going to run right around the edge of that opening. Okay. Now we're going to take our little square and we're going to pop it in this opening and give it a good press. Then pick up your front of your card, open it up, and just make sure this is adhered down really well. So here's your card, and you can see, remember I said it doesn't lay real flat, but you can, let me show you here. You can pop it so it does stay closed. It just isn't flat. And then when the person goes to open it, you have a card, and I know this doesn't show as well as this if it be standing up, but you have a card that's open like this, and it can sit just like that. So here's your pop-out fun fold, and then you close it, and there you are. Isn't that a cute card? Thank you, Carol. I'm glad you liked it. So let me bring in one more for you to show. This one I thought would be great for a little girl. I actually made it for my granddaughter for her birthday's coming up. Again, I used the Dandy Designer Series paper and just different colors, petal pink, some mango melody, and fresh freesia. And just changed up the color of the hat and did him the exact same. So when you open the card, here's your card. Now I have one more that's just like the one we made, but I colored the hippo. I colored all of them gray. So it's whichever you prefer. So I love these 3 cards, and I hope you enjoyed them. I'm going to come back to you for a minute and hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Help me grow my channel, and feel free to share the video. I will be back with you on Friday for some more fun. And this corresponding post with the downloadable PDF will be available on my website at simplycardsbykathi.com by 1 o'clock this afternoon. So you have a great day, everybody. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you soon.